Bam! Look at that! Look at that! Streamlabs, you're doing great. You're doing great, my friend. What is popping in the world outside of the world? What is the world? What is Inception? What is Inception in the world? How do we incept the world? I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea what is even going on anymore. No idea. No idea what's happening. What was I doing? Hey, what's up? What's up, Mike? What's going on, dude? What's going on, Travis? What's going on, you guys? Everyone have like a solid Christmas? Everyone have like a chill Christmas? Everyone get all the car parts that they could ever want and need for their cars for Christmas? I hope so. I do hope so. What's going on, Ryan? Joan, STI. Oh, God, that name's going to screw me. Casimiro? Did I get that right? I think I got that right. Inception is crazy. See, we're going to incept the world. I don't know how, but we're going to do it. Butterfly effect. What is going on? How's the planning going? Every time I go out into the garage, I look at the 05 STI and it just stares at me, and I want to drive it. I've only driven that car 3 times. 3 times, and it's lived on jack stand since I got it. But it'll be so much better when it's done. I literally cannot wait to get that car running again. It's gonna be so much fun. I cannot wait. Yo, what's up? What up, Omi? Ryan, what were you watching on YouTube back on the other monitor? I don't remember. It's been sitting on the YouTube page for probably like an hour now while I've been doing some computer stuff. So it's just been chilling, just been running in the background. But as promised, I said in the other live stream that I'd be doing another one this weekend. So here we are, kicking it on the live stream. I'm nearly oil. I don't know if I want to know what that means if you're nearly oil, but I have no idea. But like I said, hope everyone got everything that they wanted for Christmas. Nearly oil leak free. There we go. That makes a little bit more sense. I was about to say nearly oil is a little bit of a confusing statement. Bought my own bug eye for Xmas. That's what I'm talking about. That's actually a good Christmas present to yourself. You get an entire car. Get a whole bug eye, the whole thing. It's a good Christmas present. I still miss my bug eye at times, even though I have the blob. David's World, yo, bro, keep it up. That's what I'm saying, man. Always keeping it up. I have way too much stuff I got so many videos to shoot tomorrow. Well, I have one to shoot tomorrow, but you know. Thomas Fernandez, hello. What's going on, dude? What's poppin'? I figured I'd jump on a little bit sooner, too, rather than doing it like 6:30. Try to, like, be somewhat nice to the people on the East Coast who are, like, 3 hours ahead in the future. So I figured I'd do this one a little bit earlier. I had a 2003 Sonic Yellow WRX. The Sonic Yellow ones are hard to find nowadays. You don't see too many of them, and when you do, they're super rare. Like, I think I've seen maybe 1 or 2 of them in the past, like, 6 months. Sonic Yellow is, like, super cool color, too. I got an FA20 DIT. I plan to rebuild it. Did you recommend a full gasket kit bundle? If you're rebuilding the full FA20 from like the ground up, I would definitely replace every single gasket in there if you're going to be doing it all. Just makes a little bit more sense, and I think you can get full gasket kits for maybe like $250, $300 or so. The OEM Subaru ones I think are a little bit more expensive, but the quality on those ones is a little bit better than you're going to find in some of the aftermarket ones, unless you're getting like God, I screw this name every time, cosmetic, something like that. I don't know, it screws me every time. Hector, what's going on, dude? What's going on, Hector? Hope you're having a killer Sunday. Also, it is Sunday, right? I'm pretty sure it's Sunday. I think it's Sunday. I don't even know anymore. Bought a fat downpipe. Cool, sweet. What downpipe you get? I'm curious. I am curious, Joshua. What downpipe? Nice STI built, bro. Hey, thanks, Thomas. That thing is a money pit. All of them are money pits, but I love them regardless for some reason. I don't know. It's like self-punishment for something. D-Retro, yo, what's going on, dude? Yeah, it's 8 right now on the East Coast. See, that's why I'm trying to like do it a little bit earlier tonight, just so it's not like 9:30, 10 o'clock on the East Coast for everyone over there. And I know, like, as, like, the world, or, like, farther into the world, the time zones, it just gets worse. Getting a Cobb 20G Turbo. What external wastegate should I grab? Help. Can't pick. Honestly, if you're going to be running a Cobb 20G, I'm guessing you're probably going to be around 18 to 22 PSI. If you're going to be going external wastegate, just get a tile 38mm. Should be totally fine for it. What's a great dash cam? that also shows behind the car. Definitely check out Blackview. I have Blackview dash cams in all of the cars. The 17 STI, the 05 STI, Melanie's Impreza, Matt's Outback. Blackview dash cams are the best way to go. You get a two-way channel one. I have their new one where it's like a LTE module. So that way, if like say my car was in like Florida, I could turn on the dash cam and I could see like what's going on with the car. It's kind of cool. But Blackview, definitely somewhat affordable, really good camera quality, and super easy to hook up also. I was just cruising with the Sonic Yellow wagon not too long ago. That's what I'm saying. The Sonic Yellow ones they're fresh. You don't see a lot of Sonic Yellow bug eyes anymore. What's up, Tanner? Hope you had a Merry Christmas. It was pretty chill. I don't even know what we did for Christmas. I think we just kind of hung out. I think we took the dog for a walk. Went over to my dad's for a little bit. It was pretty chill. Mattio, what's up, Tanner? That's one that I just read. Hey, bro, how is the weather? That's a very vague question, but the weather is very dark, very cold, very windy, and very rainy. I got a pair of JDM headlights for Christmas. That's a pretty good Christmas present right there. You get a set of, like, JDM headlights. You cannot go wrong with those. How's it going, man? What's going on, Brian? I have the SPT intake without a carb sticker. Do you know where I can grab a carb sticker for the intake? I was told from the smog place I need it. I don't think they ever made an OEM Subaru carb sticker for the SPT. SPT carb sticker. SPT intake carb sticker. I don't know. I guess you can get one. I'm guessing that's the... I don't even know if you can still buy these. Can you get a sticker from the dealership? You might be able to go to the dealership and get one. I have no idea. I called a few days ago. They don't seem to know what to expect. Call Subaru... There you go. Call Subaru of America, and they will send you one for free. So, take down that number. Subaru of America, 1-800-782-2783. Apparently, they'll send you a free carb sticker if you contact them. So, there you go, my friend. Free carb sticker for the SPT intake. Season's greetings from Barbados. Well, season's greetings to you as well, my friend. It's 8 o'clock in Miami. See, you guys are in the future. You guys are living, like, far in the future. It's only 5:09 here. It's only 5 o'clock. Only 5. Do you not get cold working on the Blobeye with the garage door open, or is it warm on your end? It is always cold up here. It's typically anywhere from like 28 to like 44 degrees on a good day whenever I'm working out there. Whenever I'm out there, though, like I have long john, like heat warm stuff going on all up underneath of like my hoodies, my jeans, and everything like that. It gets cold. It gets cold real quick, but having that garage door closed, there's so much echo in the garage whenever I go to like talk or say anything that it just makes like anything I record like unwatchable. Like I don't even want to watch it whenever it's like that. So I just suffer and live in the cold weather. Jamal, yo, what's going on, dude? Did spark plugs on my 09 STI today. Had to go underneath on the passenger side. I'm still mad. They're not that bad, you guys. That one spark plug video I made and I threw out there should walk you guys through it to not have to go underneath the car, not have to jack up the motor. It is a little bit of a pain to do spark plugs, but I promise as you guys do more of them, or you do them more frequently, they're not nearly as bad as they like first were when you first do a set. Divorced Grimspeed should be easy. Hopefully bolts don't snap. Hey, that's the one I got. That's the one I got for the blob eye. Replace the turbo studs if it's old and you're going in there and doing it, because those things will suck over time. Damien, what's going on, dude? What's up, dude? Started watching the channel recently. Big fan. Well, welcome, Dylan, and I appreciate the support, my dude. Would anything bad happen to my car if I unbolted my muffler from my cat back to see what it sounded like and drove it around a bit? Nope. Nothing bad will happen, but your neighbors will probably hate you. So, I mean, if you define that as something bad happening, then maybe. But for the most part, no, you should be totally fine. Just finished my stage 1 here in Brazil. Ooh, congrats. Intake access port kind of thing, or intake ECU tech, I'm guessing. We need some full Shoots media t-shirts. They're in the works, you guys. They are in the works, I promise. After New Year's, I'll probably do the next merch order. I've been doing a couple designs on the back end over here just to get some of that stuff kind of like sorted out. So, on the way. Also, Plumber, appreciate the dono, dude. In Australia, WRXs and STIs with adaptive headlights come with a front-facing camera that is displayed on a little screen. That's kind of cool. Why don't we get that? Why don't we get that stuff? We never get like the cool fancy tech stuff. Or maybe we do. I don't know. I feel like we never get like any of the cool fancy tech stuff. I'm trying to figure out the heating issue. What else could be causing it other than a head gasket? I mean, if you're having a heating issue where it's going up 227 degrees and then dropping back down, my first thought is thermostat. Check to make sure your fans are turning on. If your fans aren't turning on, then you have an entirely different issue. Could be a fan problem, could be a relay problem, could be a wiring problem. If it's not either of those, then next I'm going to think it's an air pocket trapped somewhere in the cooling system. If you are 100% confident that you got all the air out of the cooling system, then at that point it might be time to try to go back in there, see if something might have been wrong. They have those like head gasket test kits you could try. I've personally never used one, but I've heard people having some success with them to diagnose whether they have a bad head gasket or not. Another way is if you are seeing that like frothy pea looking stuff building up on the bottom side of the oil cap or inside of the radiator, that could be an indication that the head gasket that you just put in there might be premature, or might have failed, might have gotten nicked on something when you put it in there, and it's allowing the oil and the coolant to just get together. Or if you're getting like a ton of like compression coming out of there, that could be another issue. But there's a lot of stuff that could be causing overheating like that. I would kind of go down that path to start with, and just start checking off the boxes. Start with the easier stuff, get down to the harder stuff, and then like worst case scenario, you pull the motor, you have to pull the heads back off and replace the gaskets again. I don't know what gaskets you use, dog, but hopefully they're like a good set. I wouldn't initially think there'd be a head gasket problem if you just replace the head gaskets, but if something was like installed incorrectly, or like I said, if a head gasket got nicked when you were putting it in, it wouldn't hurt to go back in there and check for your motor's sake. Brian, USMC, thanks, I appreciate it, man. Anytime. It's 5 p.m. for you. It's 7:14 in Wisconsin. It is 5:14 right now. I am living in the past. Decided to start modding my G3. Starting with access port, Killer Bee Motorsport sump package, and Cartboy short shifter. All of those very good modifications to throw on there. That Killer Bee stuff is literally a lifesaver when it comes to the older cars. Hey, Russ, appreciate the dono, dude, and the pear. I like the pear. The pear's awesome. Jordan, it for some reason blocked your message. Not entirely sure why, but let's read it. Damn, see the little cat pops up at the donos too. Always appreciate the donos, guys. You guys always kill. I need to fix that because it's not fully showing up. So let's move that up. Perfect. There we go. There's a 60-year-old lady by me that drives a D-badged red 2017 STI with a white racing stripe, and it drives 30 to 45 around town. I was giving her a little chooch when I drove by, and she waves. Hey, why did it flag that? Dog, appreciate the dono, dude. Thanks for the advice, man. I cannot wait for your channel to blow up so I can say that dude deserves it. Hey, always appreciate it, dude. Hopefully you get that cooling issue worked out. Like I said, whenever it comes to diagnosing stuff like that, always start up at like the easiest stuff and then just work your way down to like the worst case scenario stuff. Hopefully it's something easy. Hopefully it's just an air pocket trapped somewhere in the cooling system for you, because having to pull that motor back out and actually check head gaskets again, just it does not sound enjoyable. I have an 05 LGT manual transmission as my daily driver, and I want to do mods while keeping it reliable. What are some good power mods that won't risk making the car unreliable? Well, obviously, whenever you go to modify a car, it kind of compromises the reliability of it. I would definitely start by doing all of the reliability modifications first. Once you get all the reliability mods done, at that point you can start doing a little bit of power mods, but definitely start with like an air oil separator, a cylinder port cooling mod, radiator, oil pickup if you can afford it, the oil pan also if you want to make a little bit more power. A downpipe is going to be your best bang for the buck with an access port or with like an ECU tech tuner, where whatever you have available to you. But always start with those reliability mods first, because whenever you go to actually modify a car, you're always going to be compromising the reliability of it in the name of performance. It's just how it goes. You should get a 2015 STI Red Dragon Edition. Appreciate the dono, Plumber. Those Red Dragons are expensive. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of the styling on them either. ESX makes some really cool cars, but the Red Dragon STI, I mean, I'm all down for the performance aspects and the bolt-ons that they do to those cars, but like the styling of the Red Dragons, I've never been a huge fan of them. Never been a huge fan of like the red with the white racing stripe on them, or the wheel choices that ESX does. They make some weird cars. After reading for knocking is negative 1.41 on my access port on my 20WX. Should I be worried? No. Negative 1.41, negative 2.8, totally normal indications for knock. How much would it cost to get a 400 wheel horsepower without E85? Is that a WRX? Is that an STI? What is the car? Is it, if it is a WRX, is it a FA20? Is it an EJ? I have no idea what the car is, Austin, so I cannot answer that without knowing that. Only has access port and intake. Nope, Teddy, you're totally fine. I'm getting an IAG Stage 2 built block for my 2011 STI. What else should I upgrade while I'm doing the swap? Replace your oil pump at minimum, since you're going to have the block torn apart anyways. Block, if you really want to, do a little bit of head work, valves, valve springs, retainers, all of that good stuff while you're going to be in there. If you can afford it, throw some cams in there. Your heads will greatly appreciate it, as your turbo and RPM band will also, because those cams are going to make things a lot more free-flowing. If you're just talking about doing like motor upgrades like that, that's pretty much what I would start with. If you're looking for some bolt-ons, obviously the sky's the limit depending on how much power you want to make. But just like motor stuff, oil pump, a little bit of head work goes a long way. You'll love it. Have you ever done a 257 block with 207 heads? I personally have not. I know a couple people who have, but personally, I've never done that. How did I learn to fix Subarus? Facebook forums, Naziok forums, YouTube videos, 9 to 10 years of playing with Subarus. It's about the extent of it. I mean, honestly, if I don't know how to do something, I'm cheap. When it comes to things, I'm cheap. I don't want to pay people to install my parts. I feel like I can learn to do the bulk majority of absolutely everything as long as I have the space and the tools permitting me to do it. So, I mean, it just started with me not wanting to pay mechanics because I'm cheap and I would rather spend the extra money saved on labor on more parts. So I just learned to do everything myself. Just a way, personal preference, just how I learned to do it. I started out doing all the installs in the barracks parking lot of my barracks when I was in the Army, and then when I got out of the Army, I was doing installs in the parking lot of my apartment complex, which I got plenty of notes for, because I was not allowed to work on the cars in the parking lot, but I did it anyways. Oh well. Tom, what's going on, dude? Hey man, thanks for the informational videos you're making. Any time, dude. Appreciate the dono as well, my man. What's up, Tanner? You know, chilling, hanging out with you guys. It's a Sunday, Saturday night. I don't know. It's the weekend. It's a day. It's a day, so we're kicking it. We're kicking it and we're hanging out. What are your thoughts about making a 2.0 hybrid? Because I have an O2 wagon and I eventually want to build it. I mean, I've seen people do it before. I've seen people use like a 2.5 short block with 2.0 heads. I've seen people do the inverse of it also. It kind of depends on what you're doing with the car, how much power you want, what you want out of it, also the drivability aspects of it. I've seen people do it before. Some of them work great. Preferably, I like to just keep like B25 heads or W25 heads with the OEM short blocks. It's just personal preference on that one. But Subarus are like Legos. That's the nice thing. You can just kind of put it all together. Tanner, for the love of God, how do I stop and go on a hill with a lightweight flywheel? I've been driving manual for years, but my first lightweight flywheel here, and I keep smelling a slight clutch smell on hills. You could try the parking brake method if you haven't already used that, depending on the grade of the hill. I mean, we have some pretty steep hills out here. I'm talking like, I don't know, maybe that's a little, it's like, maybe, I don't know, like maybe like that. We have some steep hills out here. If the parking brake method doesn't work, you could try riding the clutch a little bit, but obviously you're going to keep getting that smell. You get used to driving with a lightweight flywheel after a while. I'm not quite sure how long you've actually had it in the car, but you'll get used to it a little bit more as time goes on. If not, just use the handbrake method. It works. I mean, it's worked for decades. I use it every now and then on super steep hills because sometimes you need the extra little bump. Yo, Tanner, what RPM do you have launch control set on the access port? On the STI, on the 17 STI, when that one was tuned, I had launch control set at, I want to say it was like 5,750 RPM or something like that. On the BRZ, I had that one set to 6,000. Personal preference, I like to have my launch control set up a little bit higher, just so I get a little bit more boost built. But people set them, I've seen people set their launch control to like 3,000. I don't understand why. You're not getting like as much boost as you would unless your tune is set to like, that's the RPM interval. If you're pro tune, just take a look at your dyno sheet, see where you're building the most boost, and then just set your launch control at that interval, and it should give you the most bang for your buck on boost for launch control. If it was a head gasket issue though, would the temps go up high and then come down to normal temps and stay normal for a long time? I mean, honestly, it depends You said your temps are getting up to like 227. It depends on if the head gasket was nicked. If it wasn't nicked, I honestly think it's an air bubble trapped in the system. Sometimes WRXs and STIs are a little bit of a pain to bleed. I mean, it's taken me upwards of an hour and a half once to actually get all the air out of the cooling system before. You gotta like massage the hoses in a weird way to like work the air out of it. Down in the lower radiator hose, there's a small cavity where an air pocket can sit. It can get pushed through the system and continue to go through there unless you massage it out and have it go up back through the radiator. I honestly think that it's just some air still built up in the system. Little story of one of the previous owners cut the roof and installed a non-functioning sunroof. I'm in the middle of making an attempt to make it functional. Who does that? I mean, I've seen people put sunroofs in their cars before, but I've never seen anyone do like a non-functional one. Why would you put a non-functional sunroof in? Interesting. Let me know. Let me know if you get it functional again, because I'm actually kind of curious on that one. How do you make an NA Legacy faster? You swap it, because these motors don't make anything for power when they're naturally aspirated, unfortunately. I mean, they're either 2.0 or 2.5 naturally aspirated blocks. Without a little bit of forced induction, you're not going to be making much, and I wouldn't advise strapping a turbo onto a stock short block. Just don't do it. Or a stock long block from a naturally aspirated car. You're going to blow it up. Then you're going to be swapping the car anyways. You're going to have all this money invested into this NA block. Just don't do it. If you're trying to make power, just swap it. Are you going to get an ETS front mount intercooler for the Blob Eye? So the front mount intercooler for the Blob Eye is either going to be a Cobb or an ETS. I will preferably probably get the ETS because the ETS is significantly cheaper than the Cobb one, but it's strictly going to depend on back order times and dates. So if the Cobb one is available and the ETS one is like 8 weeks out, then obviously I'm going to probably snag the Cobb one, because I cannot order the front mount intercooler until I get paid next month. So when I do get it ordered, it's going to depend on entirely what's in stock, but the goal is to get an ETS one. But if ETS is like significantly on back order, then it's going to be a Cobb. But yes, we are going to be running front mount intercooler on the Blob Eye. It is significantly going to need it with an FP Black in there. It's needed. Kelsey Day, the car's an O2 WX on a stage 2. It's Cobb map for when you see my first message. Well, where's the first message? I've lost the first message. Right here. So I got, actually, let me mark where I was. All right, I was right there. I got a brand new OEM injectors and one-step coulter plugs, catted downpipe, N1 exhaust, Grim Speed intercooler, and Cobb intake with some other parts. When I get into higher boost, I notice hesitation, ideas. The car's an O2 WX on a stage 2. It's Cobb map for when you see my first message. So it's an OTS tune. You have a catted downpipe, N1 exhaust, Grim Speed intercooler. Intercooler shouldn't be there on a stock OTS tune. That is going to cause a little bit of hesitation. I don't know how noticeable hesitation is to you, because it's going to be different for absolutely everybody. But when you change, actually, that's a big change. The Grim Speed intercooler from the stock O2 WX intercooler is actually a significant change in volumetric efficiency for how much air it actually flows. So if you're noticing hesitation, it's probably going to be running that OTS tune with a Grim Speed top mount on there. If you are going to be keeping the car long term with these modifications on it, I would either look at getting a Pro tune, either Dyno or E-tune, to get the issue, or just throw the stock WX top mount back on there. If you are going to be swapping intercoolers like that, though, just keep in mind that if you go to reflash the tune on the car, the ECU is going to have to relearn. It's going to have to readjust all parameters for that changed intercooler. But the reason you're probably noticing hesitation is just the sheer size difference from the OEM O2 WRX intercooler to that Grim Speed one, because you are significantly increasing how much air can flow through there, and that could be causing the noticeable hesitation that you're talking about. OTS tunes, like I've said in the past, OTS tunes are made for the parts in the map notes of that OTS tune. When you start deviating away from the map notes, that's when things start to run poorly. That's when things start to go bad. Always stick to the map notes for whatever you're using for any OTS tune. Like Jamal, I think I got that one. Cobb access port in Brazil costs, woo! That's a lot. $1,300. Jesus, I'm sorry to hear, dude. Sorry to hear, that's crazy expensive. When should I do my oil pickup? EJ 255 with 83K on it. Ooh! I mean, honestly, the sooner the better. Those The older OEM oil pickups were really the ones with the issues. I'd say like '02 to like '06 were the real problematic ones where the welds would crack, and then you're going to be starving your oil of engine because obviously it can't suck up any oil because there's a giant hole in the oil pickup. But honestly, the sooner the better. If you have the time and the monies to order an oil pickup windage tray at minimum, then by all means go down there, pop that oil pan off, get the new one on there. It's a little bit of a pain to do with the motor in the car, but it is not too bad. Okay, thanks. Anytime. Let's see, where we at? Just purchased an R400 titanium tip for my FA20. Got a Christmas deal for $950 after taxes. Oh, that's not too bad for an R400. Love holiday seasons. That's what I'm saying. They got good sales going on. How long do you think you can have the STI with a tank of E85 due to not running the car as much in the wintertime? So, I mean, honestly, the shelf life for E85, depending on the environment that it's in, if the car's parked outside or inside, it is prone to building up a little bit more moisture than like 93 or something like that is. But honestly, probably a month is what I would feel comfortable with of letting it sit. It's going to be a little bit of a pain to start in the wintertime on E85. It always is. But I'd honestly say about a month or so. After that, I'd probably drain the tank or at least let all the fuel just kind of like ploop right out of it. Just because you don't want E85 sitting in there for a long time. It can build up moisture. It can denature the fuel. Denatured fuel going in there is obviously going to increase knock ratings, which is bad for your motor. A month at max is what I'd say. That's in the car too. If you have like E85 and like containers inside your garage, I'd probably say like 2 to 3 months, but just sitting in the car outside, I'd probably say a month. Hey, like you could buy an access port through eBay, Amazon, or something like that, and ask for ship directly to your address and find a courier in Florida that ships. I mean, that's always a possibility too. I don't think anyone on Amazon sells access ports. I think I've seen some of them on eBay though. Borforts, Tanner, hello, man. Hope you had a great holiday. I hope you had a great holiday. Austin, STI, so your comment prior was something about power. How much would it cost to get 400 wheel horsepower without E85 on an STI? A lot. Unfortunately. So you're going to be looking at doing a turbo, complete fuel system. That's going to be fuel pump, fuel lines, fuel pressure regulator, TGV deletes, fuel rails, injectors, front mount intercooler, ton of stuff. Realistically speaking, to get to 400 wheel horsepower without E85, I'd estimate with bolt-ons only, with clutch, flywheel, because you're going to be needing those if you want to drive it long term, I'd probably estimate it around, with all reliability mods too, $10,000 to $12,000 probably to do it reliably on the stock block. If you're looking at swapping the motor, it's going to go up significantly in cost. I've got a video on that, actually. I have a video on how much it cost me to go 400 wheel horsepower on E85. Well, that was E85, but on pump gas, I mean, with that setup, it made like 350, and then we were maxing out the... What were we maxing out? I think we ran out of cam. I don't remember. Hey, love the vids. I want to get some Brimbos for my 2020 WRX. If I'm correct, you can put 08 to 17 STI Brembo on the 2020 WRX. Can you confirm that? I believe, I want to say 90% yes, 10% no. Actually, 95% yes, 5% no. The hub, I'm pretty sure, is the exact same, so you should just be able to bolt them right up. You're obviously going to need the rotor, the Brembo, the pads, and it should just bolt right up because you can get the WRXs now with a performance package option that comes with the older STI Brembos, the 4-pot, 2-pot Brembos, which are the exact same Brembos as the 05 to current STIs. Or 05 to 17? When did they swap over to the 6-pots? Whenever they swapped over to the 6-pots. 2.5 SB with 207 heads would be sick. Should be able to rev higher. Yes. I've got new... We talked about that one. That was the one we talked about. Okay. Hey, man, what do you recommend for street brake pads? Street brake pads. I have in the blob eye. What do I have in there? Hawk HP ceramics or something like that is what I'm going to be using for street use. Typically, though, if I'm on a little bit of a budget, I will go with like StopTech pads, street performance ones. They make a pretty good pad for pretty good price. I think I have like 2 or 3 videos on like good brake setups, including pads, rotors, lines, if you want to go check those ones out. But that should, for the most part, cover like basic brake stuff. Typically, either StopTech or Hawk is what I get. Which is the best air oil separator for 2016 STI, Cobb or Perrin? IAG, Cobb, or Killer B is going to be my suggestions. Not a huge fan of the Perrin AOS. I mean, honestly, not a huge fan of Perrin products anymore. But Cobb and IAG are pretty much the exact same air oil separator. The main difference between the two of them is the baffling inside of the Cobb versus the IAG one. But preferably the best one out on the market is going to be the IAG V3 one. IAG's pretty much got that PCV system figured out to where it works the best with their air oil separator. So IAG on that one. What games do you play on your Xbox? Right now, absolutely none, because I have no time to play Xbox. But when I do get a little bit of time, what do I have on there right now? I think I have like Call of Duty, Cold War. I think I have Minecraft on there for when I just want to like veg out and like run around and dig some holes or something. Hello, I'm having a problem with a 15 Subaru STI. On cold start, it's fine, but as soon as it warms up, the steering feels super loose, like dangerously loose. I replaced the rack and the pump. You might have some air built up in the lines. If you're driving it and you start to like turn and it starts to get like super chattery, or if you're ever turning in and it gets super chattery, then you have a little bit of air in your lines, or the pump is pushing air through there. But if it feels dangerously loose, I would also check the steering linkage, obviously going from the steering wheel down to the steering rack. Check your tie rods. It shouldn't feel like, the only thing I could think that would make it feel dangerously loose is a bad power steering pump or a bad power steering rack. If you replaced both of them, I'd say there's air in the line still, and go back out there and bleed it some more. Would you recommend getting a pre-made catback or going to a shop and having a custom one made for half the price? I don't know if there's a difference. So, I mean, honestly, it depends on what you want. If you want, like, a custom catback made for your car, and you want to save a little bit of money, then by all means, go to a shop. Go to a well-reputable shop, though, that uses good material and has, like, good welding skills. Because the last thing you want is to go to a shop, have, like, subpar material use and subpar welds, and then it'll crack over time. You don't want that. So, I mean, honestly, easy bolt-on stuff, you could definitely just buy one. That's what most of us do. If you want to have a custom one made, then by all means, go to the shop, have them make a custom one. Where was I? I'm working on my car at the moment, and I'm beyond frustrated. I totally feel you. I've been there before. Trying to get these 1300X injectors in. The fuel rail on the driver's side won't give me any space since I bent it, I believe. Help. What'd you bend? Did you bend the fuel rail? What did you bend? What did you bend? I don't understand what you bent here. I'm working. The 1300s and the 1050s are the same size and length, so you shouldn't have any length issue, because I've used the IAG setup before with 1050s. They fit just fine. I'm working on my car at the moment, beyond frustrated, trying to get these 1300X injectors, and the fuel rail on the driver's side won't give me. Are you using stock fuel rails? I could see stock fuel rails giving you problems, but I'm not entirely. If it's stock fuel rails or IAG fuel rails, I mean, honestly, I would just swap fuel rails. Personal preference makes a little bit more sense, but if it's the stock one, you could try to bend it back a little bit. Just be careful with those injectors, because you can easily rip or damage that upper O-ring and the lower O-ring, and if you do, you're going to be spilling a lot of fuel absolutely everywhere. Also, always remember to lube up those O-rings as well. Hopefully you didn't bend the fuel rail, though, because that's going to suck trying to like bend it back appropriately. I would probably just swap fuel rails at that point. Dude, the Barrack parking lot repairs are awesome. Has a buddy that installed another rotor in his RX-8 along with a bunch of supporting stuff. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I've done a lot of installs in Barrack's parking lots on cars before. Hey, I got to tell you, like this friend of mine back in February bought a brand new 2020 Kia Sedona minivan. Engine blew up after 3,000 miles. Dealer refuses to fix it. Take that thing back to the dealer. Just drop it off there and make him fix it. Just make him fix it. Well, it depends on how, like, after 3,000 miles, I mean, I'd be a little concerned. A Kia, too. It's a Kia. Kias are super reliable. If I had to pick coilovers for Daily Driver 06 STI, what would I go with? Feel 442 or KWV3? If you got the money for KW, get the KWs. KWs are awesome. Personally, if I was getting coilovers for a Daily Driver, I'd probably get like Fortunato or Feel. Just a little more in line with my budget. Those KWs get expensive. How long have you been a Subaru owner? If you are considering since my very first Subaru, I mean, I've had small like intervals where I haven't had Subarus, where I've only had Nissans also, because I typically go back and forth between Subaru, Nissan, Subaru, Nissan, Subaru, Nissan. But I've been a Subaru owner for 11 years now. About 11 years. I set mine at 5500. That was launch control. 2020 STI. Fox! Yo, made some progress on getting the RX-8 back together today. Not much, but something. I totally feel it. That's how the upload was today. Like, I'm waiting on a ton of parts to come in for the STI, but we're still getting done what we can. So I totally feel it. Small progress on cars is still progress, you guys. Mad Gorilla Gaming. I'm digging that. I'm digging your tag, dude. What's going on? Hi, man. Butterfly Effect. My VIN says limited, but I have no sunroof, no heated seats, etc. All 4 VINs match. Do you know if there was like custom ordering thing? I mean, yeah, people... It was stolen for about a year. I mean, people can custom order stuff, but I have never heard of anyone. Why would you order a limited without any of the limited features, though? That's what I don't understand. Like, you can. I just don't understand why you would. It's a thing. If your VIN says limited, just roll with it, because that increases the car's value. But, I mean, it was stolen, though, so, I mean, that probably, like, decreases the value. Tanner, I'm going to make a Viper V10 powered 1978 Chrysler New York coupe with an automatic to manual conversion and straight pipe exhaust system. Ooh, yas! That thing will sound good. ProTune or die. ProTune is the way to go. Tomorrow's my tune day. Hey, I hope everything goes smooth on the tune tomorrow for you, man. For my O2 wagon mods, STI turbo. I'm guessing it's either a VF 48 or 39. Injectors, Mishimoto Gold from an intercooler, intake, turbo smart, 40mm wastegate, and bypass valve. STI swap transmission, AEM 340. Sounds like it'll be a fun car when it's done. Sounds like it'll be super fun. Let me know how the dyno goes. Hopefully everything goes smoothly on the dyno. Alright, thank you. Anytime, dude. Didn't know if it was too much or not enough for the fuel, but thought it might be an issue. Tune is coming in spring at BK Industries at Burger King. The first thing that came to mind was Burger King Industries. I didn't know Burger King tuned cars. Good luck on your tune, dude. Hopefully everything goes smoothly. Hypothetically, would it be cheaper to build EG33, swap a bug eye, or upgrade to an RA block? Target would be 500-ish horsepower daily. Type RA block would probably be better. At 500 wheel horsepower, though, I'd probably swap out the rods and the pistons with a Type RA block. Do a little bit of head work. The EG33 is a really good option for people, but a stock EG33 with boost is not going to hit 500 horsepower reliably, especially as a daily. Those things aren't cheap either to build. The EG33, you're buying 6 of everything also. And it's going to be a lot more troublesome to go in there, do all the wiring, retain all the OEM features that you want to have in there also. Honestly, I would just build a 257 and use that. What kind of suspension are you going to run on your 05 STI? Well, that's going to be a budget-friendly question also. So currently, I bought the car. It came with Raceland coilovers. I absolutely hate them. They clunk. They make a lot of noise. They ride awful. They're way too stiff for what they are. So those are going to be coming off the car. I do have coilovers on order. We're going to be running BC Racing, BR types. They're budget-friendly coilovers that are actually somewhat decent. I've ran BCs in the past multiple times. I am going to take them apart and put anti-seize on the lower locking collars because for some reason, every set of BC Racing coilovers I've ever had have always seized on me. So we're going to take the appropriate measures up front, make sure it doesn't happen to us again. Aside from that, I love BCs. It's just that weird locking up issue that I've had to deal with multiple times in the past that just makes things a little annoying. Thoughts on the Focus ST? They're cool cars. I'm not a huge fan of front wheel drive, but I want to say they're one of the most obnoxious cars also. I don't understand how Focus STs can have, like, they'll make like 2 pounds of boost and their blow off valve's like, and you can hear it from like 4 blocks away. I don't understand it. They either have like the lightest spring in their blow-off valve I've ever heard, but it's like every single ST. They're cool cars. Personally, I don't think I'd ever own an ST. I'd rather own an RS. I just don't understand. I don't get it. I don't understand. And they all have burble tunes. Every ST that I've come across has burble tunes. I don't know why. Saw your video about valve lash 2 days ago. Reminded me of my STI had misfires due to valve lash misalignment. Engine only had 50K and was low on 1 quart of oil before misfire happened. Any culprits? Honestly, it could have been maybe someone pulled apart the motor at one point. Maybe the lash, was it multiple buckets? Was it one bucket? If one bucket was worn down, then maybe if somebody did pull apart the motor, reassembled it, they put the wrong bucket in. I think that's what happened in my case. In those other scenarios, though, maybe the lobe of the cam had just started to wear down the bucket to the point where it started to change the distance or the valve lash for that cam, which would cause the valve to either stay open too long, stay closed too long. Any culprits. Could have just been premature wear, unfortunately. Kelsey Day, appreciate the donut, dude. BK Industries is outside of Boise. Dino and Hall. Oh, I'll have to look it out. Or I'll have to look it out. I'll check it out. I'll check it out. Yeah, the first thing that came to mind when you said BK Industries, I was like, Burger King. I could go for a Whopper. Go for a Whopper! 400 all-wheel horsepower without E85 means meth injection instead. True. I mean, I have seen people use meth injection also. Won't the FP Blue get near 400 wheel horsepower on pump? The FP Blue maxes out, at least the FP Blue that we used last time, the 17 STI maxed out at 425 wheel horsepower. You can get different versions of the FP Blue that can go up to, I believe, 475 wheel horsepower. Just depends on the FP Blue that you get. Abstract Looney, love your videos. I so sick of my stock WRX headlights. Don't like chrome. I just ordered Acon's headlights that are on Amazon. Heard any good? So any type of aftermarket headlight. I don't care who makes them, what brand it is, who distributes them. All aftermarket headlights I'm not a fan of. They leak, they crack, they're made out of a lower grade plastic. They don't last as long. The seals in there always fail prematurely. If you're going to get a set of aftermarket headlights, keep an eye out for all of that. If they have like aftermarket wiring options inside of them, those typically tend to burn out a lot sooner than if you were retrofitting your own set. Personally, I just like the OEM headlight housings, retrofit those. They last as long as you can build them for. But keep me updated on the Acons. I've never heard of Acons before. So they could be a one-off that are actually a good set. I don't know. Finally got my heads back from out front. EJ205 hybrid setup with 257 Woolman performance block. So stoked to get it ordered once my studs arrive from Brian. Hey, that's what I'm saying. Going into an 01 RS body. Yeah, I think out front just got a whole bunch of stuff in, or a whole bunch of like stuff like moving, because they just got the pistons from CP for the EG33. So we should be getting the EG33 back here in the next two and a half weeks. From what I was understanding is that they were going to start assembling that engine after the holiday season, so that means after New Year's. So we need to get the EJ257 off of that engine stand and get it back into the blob eye, so that way we have that engine stand for the big boy built 6-cylinder, good for 1200 horsepower. That's what we're shooting for. It'll be, well, we're shooting for 1000, but out front does awesome stuff. Why don't you like Perrin? Asking because I have a lot of Perrin products. So I don't like Perrin anymore. I used to really like Perrin Performance. They used to be more about the performance of the cars. They used to do a lot of cool stuff, but it seems like the newer Perrin Performance only really does like all these fun colors for engine bay shrouds, all this other stuff. They used to make like fuel rails, downpipes, like all of these really cool like performance modifications for your car that they don't sell anymore. They don't even make them anymore. Plus, I'm not a huge fan of Perrin's customer service, because a couple of years ago they pretty much told me to go screw myself from an issue that I was having with one of their products, and ever since then I've just I haven't been a fan. I only like their turbo inlets. Same. That's the only thing I like is Perrin's turbo inlets. That's the only good thing that I like from them now. Yo, what's up, everybody? What's up, Cradle? What's up? I don't know why I did that. What do you think about the Crawford AOS? Crawford AOS, awesome. I've used the Crawford AOS multiple times in the past on multiple different builds. Really good AOS if you don't have access to like IAG or Cobb. What parts do you recommend for Stage 3 build on the VA STI if it would be upgraded to a rotated kit? Process West intake manifold and IAG block in the future. Well, how much power are you shooting for? Because that's going to kind of dictate what parts you get. Obviously, an entire turbo setup, intercooler setup, but without knowing like your power goals. If you're going rotated, you're obviously going to need an entirely different fuel system. You're probably going to be running a bigger turbo, so you're probably going to need the Radium dual fuel pump setup, a standalone fuel pressure regulator, fuel lines, fuel rails, TGV deletes, big ol' injectors. I don't know how much power you're shooting for, but there's a lot that goes into it. Hey man, love the videos. I'm looking at doing a fuel kit for TGV deletes and fuel rail and all. Would your video work on my 06WX? It should, yeah. It should just be the exact same because 06WX, same thing. It's side feed, so you're going to have to convert from side feed to top feed. The only difference in the fuel system between my 05 STI and your 06WX is going to be pretty much just the injector size and the fuel pump size. Goat, what's going on, dude? I love you, B. Thanks, Goat. That's very nice of you, man. That is a very nice thing to say. Thank you, Goat. Hey, bro, do you think I can run an AOS Street Series with a rotated kit? By all means, yeah. Why wouldn't you be able to? Depending on the chassis, they make relocation brackets for the air oil separator. I'm assuming you're asking because you're going to have the turbo right back where the AOS is. If anything, you can just get a custom bracket made for the AOS to mount it above the pitch stop. That's where a lot of other people mount their air oil separators when they go rotated. But yeah, by all means, you can run one. Putting my N1 on tomorrow. Ooh, it's a good exhaust. Thanks. I'll see if my mouse is blocking it. Thanks. I'll see if I still have air in it. What fluid do you recommend for it, though? Alex, I don't even remember what we were talking about with that. Alex, I don't even remember what we were talking about. Super loose, dangerous. Oh, okay. Power steering stuff. Thanks. I'll see if what fluid you recommend for it, though. I'm using Lucas on the 05 STI. I haven't had any problems with Lucas. I've used Lucas in the past. They have it available at like AutoZone and O'Reilly's because I know some people work at O'Reilly's in here. Don't stab me for going to AutoZone. I deeply apologize, but I've been using Lucas power steering fluid. Burned my clutch pretty good taken off last week. Haven't noticed any slipping yet. I have 327 torque 2017 WRX stock clutch now and will only be going up. Should I start shopping for a new clutch now? It is never a bad idea to start shopping for a new clutch now, especially if your clutch is already slipping and you plan on making more torque than you're already at. What was my first Subaru? My first Subaru was a 1988 Subaru XT Coupe. My first STI was a 2008 STI hatchback. And then the other like 17 Subarus fall somewhere in line between like everything else. Do you know anything about the quality of AWE exhausts? I mean, I've seen some of them installed on cars. So I've personally never installed one on a car. I've never seen one like up close. I've never inspected AWE, but their products sound good. They sound good. They look good from what I can see off the tips. But as for like quality, I have no idea on AWE. Yo, love the blob eye. That's what I'm saying. We want some blob eyes. We love the blob eyes. I have Olin's for my daily ride. Quality matters a lot more than power. I do not blame you. Ride quality definitely is a big factor in that to ensure that you're comfortable when driving. What is the power rating on stock sleeve on EJ? Stock sleeves, I mean, I've seen people do around 500. I wouldn't really start pushing it or like past 425, 450 comfortably, unless that's like long term. But I've seen some pretty high horsepower stock sleeve ones. They didn't last very long though. Mark, appreciate the dono, dude. What year would you recommend for buying an STI? Do you have to be mechanically inclined just to own one? You don't have to be mechanically inclined to own one. If this is your first STI, I would definitely suggest buying a newer one. 2019 or 2020 would be my suggestion just because they come with a better short block. But if you don't mind wanting to learn and getting your hands a little bit dirty, the older ones are a much better bang for the buck. It's like some of the 05, 07s, 2011 to 2014s. You don't necessarily have to be mechanically inclined. If you don't want to work on it, you can definitely pay shops to do it for you, but they're pretty easy to work on once you get the hang of it and you get like the basic tools to be able to work on them. They're not too terrible, but if this is your first one and you're looking at getting one, I would definitely get like a newer one. If you don't want to get a 19 or a 20, then obviously get a little bit older. I would avoid the 2015s and I'd go with like a 2016 plus. If you don't mind getting one a little bit older, 11 to 14, and if you want a real older one like the blob eye that we have out there, 05 or 07 would be my recommendations on those. What's up, man? Love the channel and the content. Kia 2.0 engines all blow up, by the way. There was a recall for main bearings going out. That's not good. Shows how much I know about Kias. I don't know. I know absolutely nothing about Kias. That sucks. Hopefully Kia gets that taken care of. Olin's more than you can afford, pal. You're right. What up, WRX Visiv? God, that kills me every time I try to say it. Have them. Worth it. See? Olin's, that's what's up. I'm watching all your live translations and videos. Hey, that's what I'm talking about, dude. 2018 STI bezel on WRX. Which bezel are we talking about here? Are we talking about like the front grille? What are we talking about? Bezel. Whenever you say bezel, the first thing that comes to mind is like the gauge bezel, only because that's the only bezel I ever swap out. Which bezel? Subaru, best car, and Honda. I have nothing against Hondas. I've never owned a Honda. I'd own an S2000 or an NSX, but I think that's the extent of what I would consider for a Honda. The new Type Rs don't seem bad, though. I'm more of a Subaru Nissan kind of dude, but I totally feel it. Totally feel it. Will you twin turbo the H6 in the 17 or twin scroll? Tell us more. So, the turbo setup that I found the turbo that I was looking at earlier. Let's see if I still have it pulled up on my phone. It's a Precision, I want to say it's a 7538. It's a big turbo. Do I still have it pulled up on my phone? I do. So, this is the turbo that I'm looking at. It is a... That's not the turbo that I'm looking at. This will work. I mean, this just isn't the turbo. I guess this is the one. I guess I was looking at a 6870 rated for 1100 horsepower. That's the turbo I was looking at. If it'll even like focus, it's not even going to focus on it. It's a Precision PT 6870 is what I was looking at earlier. It's rated up to 1100 horsepower. We're going to be shooting for around 1000 wheel horsepower on the 17 STI just to give us a small bump of like 200 wheel horsepower where we're not going to be like over stressing the motor. So we're going to be running one giant single turbo. It's probably going to be as big as my head. It's going to be great. And I got a big head too. Like turn sideways, it's a big head. Big head, big turbo. What do I think about the Feel 441 coilovers? Absolutely awesome coilovers. Feel and Fortunato have always been my go-to for more higher-end coilovers. BC has been more of like my budget-friendly coilovers. Yo, dude, what's up? I have EG33 swapped successfully. Ooh, what chassis did you put it in, dude? I'm super curious. There's a handful of EG33 swap chassis that I've seen running around. I haven't seen anybody do it in the newer VA chassis. I've seen most people do it in the older GDs or GC chassis. Dale, what chassis you got in it? Tell me more. KFC access port. Kentucky Fried Chicken. What J-pipe do you run? Do you recommend any for a 16 STI with a Cobb SF intake and NVIDIA N1 exhaust? Josh, that's a very good question. To answer that question, though, we do not have J-pipes. We have downpipes. So the only reason they're called J-pipes on the WRX is because the shape of them, it looks like a J. On our cars, downpipes. If you are looking for like a good downpipe, Grimspeed or Cobb, I think ETS sells one. Nameless Performance is another really good one. Typically, those are the ones that I stick with. I have a Grimspeed limited one on the way for the 05 STI. Prior to that, on the 17 STI, I had a Cobb catted downpipe on that one. Both very good downpipes. Let's see. Coffee break. It's a coffee break. I can guarantee you whenever I get this project that I want to get started off the ground, I'm going to take that car to the drag strip, and I also want to be a good daily driver as well. That's what I'm saying. Bro, have you ever been to Redmond, Oregon? Please come on and check out that build. Well, how often, shout out from you of Oregon, that's what I'm saying. How often do I go down to Oregon? I don't go down to Oregon that much. I don't really get out of Washington State too much. I need to, though. I'll be down in Oregon in February to get the 05 STI tuned. I might set up a little meet after the tune just to come meet some of you guys down south a little bit more and hang out for a little bit. Do you do full-time YouTube yet? Yes, sir. I've been doing YouTube full-time since May. It's definitely not easy as a small YouTube channel. I'll definitely tell you guys that right now. It's why like all the donos you guys do, all the merch you guys buy definitely helps and supports out a ton. But yeah, I've been doing YouTube full-time since I want to say May. I think that's when I quit my job to do YouTube full-time. I sold my house. I moved in with my gracious friend Matt upstairs. He's been a huge help and a huge supporter of the channel also. But yeah, got to make sacrifices if you want to do what you love. Inside the coolant reservoir, is it normal when it bubbles inside and smoke coming out? You shouldn't see smoke coming out of the coolant reservoir. You might see a little bit of steam coming out just from coolant that's maybe burning off or over boiling in there, which is totally normal. But if you're seeing like full-on smoke coming out of your upper coolant reservoir, no, that is not normal. That is not good. ST was a fun car. The front wheel drive is a bit unpredictable, though. Mine got totaled a year ago. I am sorry to hear, Cradle. They're cool cars. The whole blow-off valve thing, they're like incredibly loud. I think I'd rather own an RS over an ST, but both, I mean, totally open to it. Cool cars. At least they come with Recaros. That they do. Smedia, you the best. Hey, thanks, WXViz. Austin, appreciate the dono, dude. Sorry for asking again. You totally good, dude. I got a 17 STI with a downpipe, full exhaust, and a cold air. I want to make 400 wheel horsepower without E85. Any suggestions? How and cost for part? You're going to be looking at a laundry list of stuff. So, I mean, if you already have a full turbo back and an intake, you're going to need a turbo inlet. You're going to at least need a turbo capable of 400 wheel horsepower. I would probably suggest a Blausch 2.5 XTR for that. If you're going to be staying on pump gas, you're going to need a fuel system at minimum ID 1300s is what I would suggest, so that way you're not running up your injector duty cycle crazy high with 1050s. You're going to need TGV deletes. You're going to need fuel rails, fuel lines, fuel pressure regulator, fuel pump, boost controller, access port, headers, up pipe, external wastegate, air oil separator, radiator, cylinder 4 cooling mod, hybrid speed density setup, probably the Visconti tuning one. You're going to need a front mount intercooler just to keep those IATs down, ETS, Cobb, Process West, whatever one you can afford. Cost wise, it's not going to be cheap depending on like what quality and brands you're looking at. If you're looking at just the bolt-on parts without the cost of the tune, you're probably going to be looking at around $9,000 to $10,000 if you're looking at like the higher end of quality. If you're looking at more of the lower end of quality second-hand parts, you could probably get that price down to like $6,000 to $7,000. But you want the reliability aspect in there also, so that way you're not overstressing the motor, overstressing the parts, and end up blowing the car, because that's honestly the last thing anyone wants to happen to their cars. So it's not cheap to do. Subarus are not cheap motors to build. In general, it sucks. It is what it is. But when you are making some sauce with them, they are fun. They're definitely fun. Where was I? STI took forever to get a Recaro option. They still suck. I'm not a huge fan of the Recaro ones. Hello, small dog. Welcome to the office. I do a lot of metalworking and thinking about making my own titanium battery tie down. If it goes well, want one. Definitely, dude. I don't even have a battery tie down in that 05 STI. I would graciously take one. That would be incredibly awesome, dude. It's too bad they don't make a Dodge Neon SRT4 anymore. We have one in the garage. We have an SRT4 in the garage, which that car is like incredibly difficult to get parts for. That's Matt's SRT4, because I see a lot of people asking about the SRT4. It's not my car, it's Matt's car. Super cool though, super cool car. Shout out from Eastern Oregon, Super Chapter. Hey, what up? Kelso, Day, Scott, Alex, Ian, Kyle, Nick, Corey, and lots more. Great channel, man. Do you go to any of the race wars or import face-offs? I haven't been to an import race-off in so long. I think the last import face-off I went to was in Texas, and it was at the Royal Purple Speedway. I think it was Royal Purple Speedway. I think that's where it was. It's been a long time. Been a long time since I've been to one of them, but every now and then I'd like to get out to some more shows. I think the last show that I got out to was a Stance Wars event this year, back in like February, I want to say. It's been a while. Like, this whole COVID thing has absolutely killed like all the car show stuff, and I haven't been able to go out to like meets, car shows, anything like that. Smedia STI best. Yes, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'll take that. I'll take that as a compliment. That's a compliment. You say channel weird. Channel. It's not, some people are like channel. 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 It's channel. Channel. I've always said channel. Can't wait for the review on the FP Black. When all things are done, I want to see if there's a huge turbo lag. Same. I'm also curious. I've never ran an FP Black before, so this will be a good experience for all of us. All of us, I tell you. YouTube, we love Subaru. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I'll take that too. We love Subaru. One more question. LOL, I'm the guy that asked if you wanted to trade your trunk for my wingless trunk. Haha, do you still want it? My wing is still like 3 months out, so you have time to think about it. I am going to have to pass, Alex. I do appreciate the offer, but I'm going to have to pass. Are you getting tuned on E85? Right now, no. The game plan is not to run E85 on the Black STI. The game plan on that one is to stick with pump gas. It's a daily driver. I don't want to have to be going out 30 minutes out of my way every single time I need to go fill up on E85. So no, right now it's only going to be pump gas on the 05 STI. Plus that keeps costs down because I don't have to do a flex fuel sensor and all that other fun stuff. As you know, Charlie, what's going on, dude? As you know, I'm going to have virtually the same setup as you on my STI. Although I can't run E85 due to no gas stations around me. Sell it. What do you think I can make on 93 octane? I have no idea. We will find out together, my friend, when my car goes to the dyno, because we're going to be running very similar setups, and I, too, am not running E85. At least not for right now. It'll be pump gas for quite a while. What up, dude? What up, Matthew? I have E85 everywhere. Everywhere here, but I haven't made the jump to flexible yet. Make that jump. If you have E85 available to you guys, it is probably one of the best modifications you can do. The closest E85 station to me is like half hour, 40 minutes away. It's a little bit of a pain for me to go fill up 10 gallons of E85 here and there. But I mean, if you have access to it, it's totally worth it. You can tune the Dodge Neon SRT4 to run on E85. That you can. That car has a, I think it's a 700, 800 real horsepower capable motor in it with a huge turbo on it. That car will make some power when it's done. Thanks. Hopefully my tune goes well. Does anyone know if IAG AOS can be put on an O2 WRX wagon? 100% it can be. Yes. Yo, what up, 370Z? I only speak Russian and Lithuanian. I don't know how to speak Russian or Lithuanian, unfortunately. Sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know. I cannot speak those. I can literally only speak English, and maybe like a little bit of Spanglish. A little bit of it. I took Japanese for like 2 years too. I failed Japanese too. I can speak a little bit of Japanese. Would you recommend getting a WRX as a first car as a daily driver? Depends on what WRX you're getting. If it's an older WRX like the 05 STI is, I'm going to say no, because it's going to be a little bit of a problematic car until you get all the issues worked out. If you're getting one that's a little bit newer, I'd say like 2011 plus, then yes, I think it'd be an awesome daily driver. Hey, Media, what wing do you have on your STI? I'm thinking about getting it for my new 2020 WRX I told you about earlier. So on the 2017 STI, we used to have the APR GTC 300 wing on that car before I pulled it off to go wingless. On the 05 STI, it is just the OEM STI wing. Hope that answers your question. I like the APR one, though. 1,000 horsepower in the EG33. Wow, 1 or 2 turbos. We're going to be running one big turbo. One big old turbo. One big old turbo. Any good license plate ideas that are related to Subis? Need a custom one. For the longest time, I wanted to do on all fours, but I could never get it approved in my state. You might be able to get it approved. That's always been one that I've tried. I've never gotten it approved, though. On all fours. Since it's all-wheel drive, you get it, and it's also a innuendo. It's funny. It's funny. I love JDM. JDM is my life. That's what I'm saying, dude. Parents seems to depend on their part rather than just the brand. 100%. If you guys have been around like Subaru for, I don't know, the past 6 years at minimum, you will see like the change in how Parent Performance is as a company. Like they used to like straight up be about performance parts. Now they're all about like fun colored pitch stop mounts and radiator shrouds and engine bay shrouds. They just don't make performance parts like they used to anymore. Yo, what up, Cradle? Yeah, okay, bye. Oh, bye. Bye, WRX Visiv. Oh my god, my chat just jumped. It just jumped. Where did I leave off? Latest EG33 news. I touched on it a little bit. We should be getting the motor back in 2 to 2.5 weeks. Outfront Motors has our pistons. The deck is, or the block is closed decked at this point. Our heads are built. Our 272 cams have been reground, or they might be 282 cams. I think they're 282 or 272. I don't remember off the top of my head. But the cams are done. The heads are built. Everything's good to go. So they just have to bloop, just bolt it all up and put it all together, and then we get our motor back. So we should have the EG33 back in like 2 to 2.5 weeks. I am incredibly excited to get that motor back. I cannot wait. Best sounding exhaust. I was going to go with the Turbo XS for my Forester, but leaning towards the Fujitsu. Personal preference, I mean, I like the ETS exhaust with a catted downpipe. The Grady exhaust with the catted downpipe also sounds good. NVIDIA N1 has always been one of my go-tos. Turbo XS, I'm not a huge fan of the Turbo XS, but it does sound pretty good. People like you can only own these boxer engines. It takes a special kind of love and a special type of person to dig into boxer engines like this. If you're gonna like buy an older one, it definitely takes a lot of love to keep them going. Matthew, are you yelling? Oh, Matthew says hi. Where did I go? My Fujitsu. Oh, God, dude, I cannot pronounce that. JDM exhaust sounds great. More bass, not too loud. That's what I'm saying. Why do you have to swap the rear diff fluid? I'm going to run 7590 both trans and rear diff 08214. Why did you have to swap the rear diff fluid? Oh, so the newer differentials in the newer Subarus are more of a torsional rear differential than an LSD based. The 04 to 06 I want to say it's 04 to 06 rear differentials are more LSD than torsional, so that way you have to run a mineral oil in the rear diff. I ended up putting 7590 in the rear diff, when in reality it takes a LSD based with the mineral oil just to keep everything like lubricated properly. To any Subaru fans out there, do you wish that they would bring back the Subaru Brat? I do! The Subaru Brat was an awesome car. If they redid the Subaru Brat, I would probably buy a Brat. They're not fast, but they're cool and they're fun. But if they did bring back the Subaru Brat, I think they should make an STI version of it. Facts. Well, they kind of did that with the Baja for a while, but it wasn't the same as the Brat. It just wasn't the same. Every old STI has a new engine because they blow somewhere on their third and fourth. That is a fact. That is 100% a fact. It's unfortunate. It's not always the cars, though. Unfortunately, sometimes it is the owners, and that's why we have a lot of the videos on the channel now. I'm not trying to, like, bash anyone, but trying to, like, educate and, like, spread the love. Spread the love of Subaru. STI Crosstrek would be awesome. That would be an awesome car. Bye-bye, friends. Bye-bye, WRXViz. I hope you have a good night, my friend. How about a Forester STI? They got that in Japan. They get all the good stuff in Japan. Thank you. I want a blob eye, to be honest. The headlights remind me a bit of the older Golf R32s. I can see it. I see the resemblance. I can see the resemblance a little bit. Yo, what's up, bro? What's up, Zeal Minix? Mix? I think I got that one. They already have the STS Sport. I think a Crosstrek STI with a hood scoop would be dope, though. That would be. There's, I don't think he's in here, Rumble Hatch. He's a subscriber. He's been in the chat multiple times. He has a Crosstrek with a hood scoop on it. It actually looks pretty mean. Looks pretty good. Hey, good work on the 05. Thank you, Andy. I'm curious, when do you make the decision to either continue to work on a car, and when do you let it go? I mean, obviously, I can't just let it go. It has to be running and driving again. So, personally, when I decide to let a car go, it's either because something else comes up that I want or because I get bored of the car. But for the most part, it's just with this one, I mean, you can't really just let it go and sell it as a half-ass project. It has to be finished, but personal preference, I only really let him go when I get bored of the car or when something else pops up that I want more. Best RB engine. Personally, I like I've had an RB20 and I've had an RB25. Personally, I like the RB20 a little bit better. It sounds so incredibly smooth. What is it? It's a 2-liter straight 6, and it is the smoothest sounding engine I've ever heard. In my old 93 GTST, RB20 straight 6, RB25 turbo, RB25 injectors, RB26 intercooler. Incredibly fun car, but RB20, best sounding engine, performance-wise, best bang for your buck is probably going to be an RB25 non-Neo, the non-Neo version, to be specific. Would anybody purchase a Honda Ridgeline Type R? Personally, no, but some people might. Doesn't iWire have an EG33 build too? Not in the newer chassis. So nobody has done this in a VA chassis STI or WRX, mainly because the CAN bus system is going to be a huge pain to work around. People do EG33. Most people do EZ30s and EZ30s in a lot of swaps. You guys may have seen a blue Hawkeye that is going around on Instagram right now. That one has an EZ30R in it. Which is out of the Tribeca, so it's a Tribeca engine. So we're using an older variant of Subaru 6-cylinder. We get a little bit more displacement. We get a 3.3 liter instead of a 3 liter. Some people, I've seen a couple with the 3.6R. That one you do get a little bit more literage, but it's got a weird rod setup where it's like a spherical rods or something like that, and it's just not the best for building from what I came across from my research. So EG33 is what seems to be the go-to for me. What's up, Tanner? Hope you enjoyed Christmas, my man. I hope you enjoyed Christmas. Well, love my Nameless Axleback. Nameless makes some pretty good stuff. Are you getting equal length headers? This is gonna. I don't want to tell you guys because obviously my answer is gonna take like it's gonna disappoint a lot of you. Yes, I am gonna be. Yes, you know what? Yes, equal length headers. A lot of people don't like equal length headers just based off the sound, but for the sheer performance aspect of the car, equal length headers are just the better way to go. I'm sorry. It's the better, more efficient way to go. Yo, I got a 2010 hatch. What exhaust would you recommend? Single exit? been debating hard. Personally, on hatchbacks and the newer sedans, I prefer the quad tip exhaust setup. I think it looks a little bit better, but the single exits also look très magnifique. Would I need to get my car pro tuned if I get a downpipe? You can do an OTS tune if you'd like, but an E-tune or a pro tune is always going to be more efficient and a little bit better for the car. My builder recommended most of the parts you mentioned when building a 500 horsepower closed deck built block. He never mentioned aftermarket cams. Is that okay? Are the stock ones okay for 2005 STI? No, you are going to run out of cam at like 400 to 420 wheel horsepower. You're going to need cams. The BC 272 cams are pretty good cams to get up to 500 wheel horsepower. They flow a lot better. You just run into a lot of flow issues with the stock cams when you try to get past 400 wheel horsepower. So you are going to need cams. I would run that by your engine builder, see what they recommend for that motor that they're building. But cams, yes, I would highly suggest getting cams. I heard some rumors before the Dodge Caravan was discontinued, but they were planning on making an SRT6 version of it. Interesting. That could be a fun car. Connor, appreciate the dono, dude. Appreciate the $9.99, man. It all goes back into the channel. It's probably going to go back into the blah bye. Matt, come here. Yeah, come here. Come on, come say hi to everyone.
Why are you talking about the SRT?
Ben brought up the SRT.
They keep forcing me down here over and over, so.
What do you mean? Look, we got Matt. We got Matt. Jump in, Matt. What's going on?
Dude, you gotta move this couch for this live stream.
I gotta here, dude. We can just rotate our camera a little bit. Bam.
You see,
Yeah, I see you have a mustache now.
accentuated the mustache.
You got a haircut.
I did.
You got a haircut and a mustache.
I don't know how I did that all in one day.
Matt, you want to go through some questions?
That's about GTI.
So, we were talking about RBs earlier. Hey, Tanner, just got back tuning the GTR I was talking about last week. I'm now pushing 640 horsepower. Jealous. If you could have a
Which one?
His R35.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty special.
I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure Austin used to have an STI, then jumped over to an R35.
Yeah.
Which I'm jealous of. I mean, who wouldn't be?
You gonna say if I could have any GTI?
If I could have any GTR, it wouldn't be an R35. It would probably be an R32 just because I like the R32 better. You would probably pick the R33 because
I like
you
upsetting
like boats.
people and saying R33.
Yeah, because you like boats.
I do.
It's a boat.
Yeah.
Woo! You marked everything on my list. Good stuff. Spent about $2,000 on fuel system alone. Fuel system stuff ain't cheap. It's never cheap. Your fuel system probably wasn't cheap either. Fuel system in the 17 STI wasn't cheap.
As cheap as I could get it.
As cheap as you could get it.
Yeah.
Has anyone here tried a carbon fiber drive shaft? I want to get one. I've never tried a carbon fiber drive shaft. I've heard a couple people saying
Tyler had one.
on his Bug-Eye.
Yeah.
I thought he had a single piece steel one.
No, yeah, that carbon fiber.
Did he like it?
It kind of did some weird stuff.
His made a whole bunch of weird noises.
Yeah, balancing and stuff.
It made a weird noises. I remember
Don't buy
that.
one secondhand is all I can say.
Yeah, I don't think his was balanced properly, and it was like hitting I think the carrier bearing and the drive shaft were hitting each other, and it was making a whole bunch of weird noises.
Yeah, it was pretty weird.
And it was just, oh, hello, small dog. Would you recommend the cylinder 4 cooling mod on an IAG stage block? 100%. So just because you have a built block doesn't mean that the cooling system is going to be any more efficient. You're still going to have the cooling system deficiencies.
Why is this happening?
Same thing can be said about the exhaust system. I mean, if you were to put unequal length headers on a built motor that doesn't correct the performance issues of running an unequal length header, when an equal length one is going to be more of a performance aspect or a performance setup just because it runs more efficiently. You say channel weird. We talked about that one. What's my favorite Subaru dealership in Washington? I'd say Subaru of Puyallup. No plugs in that one. Subaru Puyallup.
No reason for that.
I mean, honestly, they're the only ones that I really go to. I don't trust a lot of the other dealerships around here just because I've seen a lot of dealerships do a whole bunch of sketchy stuff. Subaru Puyallup is local to me. They do a lot of good work. They offer pretty good pricing also. I mean, it's my go-to one.
I work there. You can see my pretty face.
You can. Matt works there also, so if you want to go see Matt at Subaru Puyallup, go say hi to Matt. Thanks at Cradle. Yo, Tanner, single exit or quad exit? We talked about that one. You guys are like spamming me with them.
Dude, you got ways to go on here.
I always have
a whole lot of questions.
I have a ways to go. I always have a ways to go on comments. Hey man, I have a 2012 WRX that sat for about a year and a half. License was suspended, broken heart, I'm sorry to hear. And I was running old fuel in the tank. I only got misfires when the car is warming up. What should I do? If it was me, I'd probably just go to the fuel tank, pop off the drain on the fuel tank, try to get as much of that fuel out of there as you can. Just put in some fresh fuel. You can get a lot of like particulate that'll build up at the bottom of the tank. The pump could be trying to suck it up, and it's going to be stuck on the filter sock, which could limit fuel flow a little bit. I wouldn't expect a ton of it. But at that point, I would drain the tank and just put some new fuel in there.
Also, if you ran that through it, yeah, clean the injectors too.
Can Matt give us deals on case halves and bare heads?
No, I don't work in the parts department.
No. Matt works in service.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough.
It's a struggle. I'm waiting until it snows in our country. Well, hopefully you get some snow soon, man. I think he's in Lithuania.
Me too.
What do you think about bug eyes? I've always wanted to do a closed deck build on one. I like bug. I like bug eyes. I used to have a bug eye. I used to have an 02 WRX. I love that thing. The thing was a trooper.
I've always liked how they kind of curve down in the headlight area.
Like at the front of the bumper where it like swoops down.
They got a nice bulge.
They got bug eyes got good
I like
bulges. I like bug eyes. I think if you want to build a bug eye, totally worth it. Plus, you can get it in either a sedan or a wagon. I'd probably take the sedan. You'd probably take the wagon.
I like the sedans.
Would you?
Or GDs, yeah.
Would you?
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of the wagon. I like the wagons, but I
like wagons for like legacies and out.
I'm just not a huge fan of like the taillights
like being able to
of
put
the GD wagons.
A couch in the back of my car.
We have fit a couch in the back of your car.
Yeah.
We have done that. Hey, Emmanuel, appreciate the dono, dude. Happy late Christmas. Hope the car is coming along well. When you doing car reviews, LOL. Also working on my first YouTube video. Hey, let me know when you post that video, dude. Car reviews, I will probably put something up on the community tab to have people send some more entries in because we're a little bit low on entries right now, so I don't want to go through like 2 or 3 of them and then kind of end the video there. But I'll put like a community tab post up if anyone wants to submit any like car review stuff. I'll have Matt come down and make him do some of them with me also. As for 05 STI, I'm waiting on the new bucket to show up. Once that 478 comes in, I think we'll be pretty much solid on the cam setup. Once we get the cams back in, we can obviously get the rocker cover back on, cam gears back on, timing back on, and then it's just waiting for the clutch and flywheel to show up, and then we can just pop that thing back in the car. So hopefully we at least get the engine back in the car here in the next like 2 weeks. Hopefully week, depending on when ACT actually sends out the clutch. Appreciate the dono, dude. Hope you had a good Christmas as well, my man. Hey, man, just want to say hi. Keep up your good work. Love the content. Hey, appreciate it, Kevin. The closest thing... Oh, yeah. For everyone who's curious, Matt has the SRT4 in the garage.
Me.
I don't... It's not mine. It is Matt's SRT4.
I've had it forever.
Just to throw that out there while we have
forever,
Matt here.
But
a while.
10 years.
A while.
A long time. A lot longer than I should.
Any tips on E85 for a bug eye? Not much out there. Or what are you looking for on tips for E85 on a bug eye? Need a little more clarity on that one. If you're looking at running the 85, obviously you're going to have to redo the entire fuel system. If you're looking at like storage of the 85, got to be a little more precise in the question on that one. Hi, what's going on, Walt? I would say not more than half a tank, but shouldn't hurt. You want to bring your octane back up. That's a side question. My GC 2.5 RS just started knocking. Should I replace it with an 01 OBS or Bug Eye WRX wagon? You like Outbacks. Oh, Outback Sport.
Sorry, I was reading the left-hand side.
Right here. Outback Sport. Or Bug Eye WRX wagon. Personally, I'd say get the WRX wagon. If you're just looking for something that's a fun daily driver and you want a little bit of boost out of it, and it's obviously usable because it's a wagon, the WRX is going to be a little bit better of an option. I don't think the Outback Sports came turbocharged. Mm-hmm. It's also a wagon. You could probably get it, or you could probably get both of them around the same price, to be honest. I'd get the WRX wagon out of that option.
Yeah.
Cam, what's going on, dude? I love your videos. You have helped me learn a lot about keeping my WRX on the road. It's been super amazing help. I would like to have you work on it one day. Maybe one day. Who knows? I don't know. Their Subarus can be... Build a giant what?
Giant storage facility. Do some stuff. We can replace some headlights on your car. Bring it on down.
Replace headlights? Walter! What's going on, dude? Ooh, live stream. That's what I'm saying. Would you get a Subaru Baja? Yes, I would love a Subaru Baja. Subaru Baja would be awesome.
I've always wanted to play Mad Max in a Subaru Baja, so...
You want to play Mad Max in a Baja?
Just go out somewhere crazy.
And just Mad Max with a Baja? Yeah. That'd be kind of cool.
Metal panels just make it look like it survived some crazy...
I've seen a couple people like STI swap Bajas where they do drivetrain 257 swap into it.
They make the turbo Baja too.
Oh, I know.
So you can...
But it's not. Is it a 257 or is it 205?
255.
Is it? Is it 255 or 205?
255.
Oh.
Could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. I've never owned a Baja.
Neither have I. Never had a turbo Baja.
Baja is my dream daily. It'd be a good daily. I mean, it's kind of like a truck ute thing. I think the
best of both worlds.
Well, I think
it's not quite that. It's not quite the other.
I think the Baja was just made to replace the Brat.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the entire. They should have put seats in the back of the Baja like they did the Brat. Would have been better.
Get them.
I think it's illegal.
Like an aftermarket.
I think it's illegal though.
Nah, whatever. Nothing ever comes from legal.
What is a great radar detector? I've talked about radar detectors before. I personally don't like radar detectors. I feel like they all lie to me because whenever they go off, it's just a semi-truck driving by. And then when it actually does go off and there is a cop, I don't trust it. I don't like radar detectors that much. Don't trust them. Do you have any radar detector experience?
Nope.
Neither do I.
Nope. Just use your eyes. Look around.
Can't wait to see your 2015 STI. I want to see if my R35 GTR can beat that setup. I am totally down, Austin. Just know that 2017 STI is going to be making around 1,000 to probably 1,050 horsepower. It'd be a fun race. I'd be down. I want to take that thing to the drag strip and see what I can do. My wife has a 15WX. She's getting an intermittent code for rear O2 sensor. Checked the connection for moisture, nothing. Think it could be a bad sensor or something with the tune. Catless with E-tune. If it's catless, I'm going to guess it's probably the sensor just getting overheated and it's wearing prematurely. I mean, that's what I typically see whenever O2 sensors start to go out is it's a catless downpipe or catless J-pipe. You're getting a lot more heat going in there. You're getting a lot more particulate going through, running over the O2 sensor and prematurely wearing them. I see a Undin R7. I don't know what that is.
I use a Uniden.
I have no idea. Oh, I totally read that wrong. What's the biggest con of a GRB WRX STI? The 08 to 10s aren't the best, only because they had more prevalent issues with rod bearing failure. If you're trying to get a GR STI and you want an 08 to 10. So, I mean, honestly, the only like cons to the GR STI is the 08 to 10s. It's really the only con I can think of because you can get a hatchback or a sedan option. You can get multiple different color options too because they did some cool colors for those years. If you can find one, what are they? Tangerine orange. Mm-hmm. You can get like the tangerine orange ones. You can get the
WRXs. I mean, even after 09 was like the year where they upgraded the turbo in the WRX.
Yeah, but even the 10s, I'm not a huge fan of the narrow body.
I'm not.
Like narrow bodies need love. Don't get me wrong. Narrow bodies need love, but I'm just not a huge fan of the narrow body look. Like, I've seen people do, like, STI or, like, revised WRX front fenders on them and do, like, their own rear fenders, and it looks absolutely awesome. Mm-hmm. But as from, like, a styling
aspect... You leave it narrow, it seems like something's missing. It's too close to, like, a standard.
But that's one of the things that I liked that Subaru did with the GR chassis, is the STIs were more of a wide body, while the WRXs were more of, like, a narrow body, and I felt like they tried to continue that trend through the GR series, but it started to look a little weird and a little off. Because the older ones, it looked like it was supposed to be that way. Like the WRXs... And
there wasn't a lot... I mean, it was a subtle difference. It wasn't like, whoa,
it wasn't like drastic like the GR was. The GR was a drastic difference in like body width. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's my biggest con that I'd say is just like the 08 to 10s. Stay away from... Preferably if you're looking at buying one, getting 11 to 14. Hey man, just stopping by to say what's up. Hope you can get that STI running. I'm the Honda Accord guy. What's going on, dude? We'll get it running soon. We're just waiting on parts to get dropped off. Once parts get dropped off, we're pretty much solid. Hello, Dad. Is I your adopted son? Hello, Thundercock 659. On an interstate, I typically get 1 to 2 miles heads up. Radar detector, I'm guessing. Take care, bro. Hope you had a good Christmas. You as well, my man. The best sounding 4-cylinder engine I've ever heard in my life is a Chrysler 2.2 liter 4-cylinder engine inside of a Chrysler K car. I'm going to have to look that one up later. I cannot say I've ever heard that before. The sound of the headers should be way down on the list after performance. I'm always for efficiency whenever it comes to this stuff. I mean, yes, you do lose the Subaru Rumble when you swap over to a set of equal length headers, but... Lamau. But honestly, efficiency is always... It's always top priority for me, is efficiency over sound. Hey, appreciate the dono, Ravenchild. Hatch wide body butt is the best butt. I'll agree with that one. I do miss my old hatchbacks. My 08 STI hatch, I do kind of regret selling that car at times. It looks good. It's just a good looking car from all angles. Where's the best place to look for a decent price WRX STI? OfferUp isn't bad if you know what you're looking for. Craigslist can be okay. Facebook Marketplace is typically going to always be bad. On rare occasions, I see good listings for like WRXs and STIs come up on Facebook Marketplace. Auto Trader's typically been good.
I was going to say Auto Trader's normally where I look at most of the stuff.
Yeah, Auto Trader's typically my go-to. Facebook Marketplace is how I found the 05 STI, and you can see the condition that one was in. Let's just say that. What is up, my guy? I cannot wait to see the 05 on the STI on the road, and that H6 is going to be badass. That's what I'm saying. I'm stoked to get the motor back. I have no idea how to time that motor.
That's gonna be.
I have absolutely.
Why do you think I got all those puzzles, man?
I have absolutely no idea how to
Practice
time that
on
motor.
puzzles, then
So
tip.
when I was disassembling the EG33, there's a timing mark on the cam gear.
Yeah, that little, and you
And then
hold it out.
And then, well, it's all reset
I don't
now.
get what it even does.
It's
like
all
that.
so, well. There's a timing mark on the cam gear, and then there's also a timing mark on the inside of the valve cover on the back of the intake can.
Yeah.
So I don't. Where do I line that up?
If I remember, because weren't they saying you got to use a mirror and see?
I don't.
I mean, those are weird. That's beyond my time.
I have to same.
Like,
I have to find a service manual and figure out how to time that
I was a
thing.
Tech at Subaru well after those were pretty much done coming in, so
I don't know.
I maybe saw one for a 30K or something.
I have no idea.
At some point.
Hey, scoot forward. You're off camera. What are you doing?
I'm leaning, enjoying things, and holding
What,
little
with the
dog.
small dog?
What's up, little dog?
If I installed a flex fuel kit on my 16WRX, but with no access port, would getting a Pro Tune still allow me to swap between pump gas and E85 on the fly, or do I need an access port? Also, do you need an access port for a tune? So you are going to need an access port for a tune 95% of the time. Most tuners who tune Subarus use a program called Access Tuner, which works in conjunction with the access port. Obviously, access port, access tuner. If you're going to be doing a flex tune on a 16WRX, you're going to be needing at least a Cobb flex fuel sensor, so that way you can go on the fly swapping between pump gas or E85 or mixing it to whatever percentage you want it as a final ethanol content. But you're going to need an access port, and you're going to need that Cobb ethanol sensor. There are like alternative options to ethanol sensors. But that's that's when things start to get a little bit weird. You can have like fun issues when using like third-party ethanol sensors and whatnot. It can get dangerous. Also, you can end up like destroying your car because the ethanol sensor isn't picking up the right amount of ethanol content, and then it's just doing some fun stuff. So definitely get an access port. Definitely get like a Cobb ethanol sensor. It'll make your life a lot easier. It'll reduce problems. Suggest it. 10 out of 10. Suggest it. Where are you from? Washington State. We're like an hour south of Seattle-ish.
We're South Seattle.
South Seattle? Is there South Seattle and South Seattle?
Yeah.
We never go to Seattle.
Real North Central, yeah.
The Chrysler 2.2 liter 4-cylinder engine, and if it's turboed, sounds pretty wickedly awesome. And you get somewhat of a good growl from that muscular growl. Ooh. I'm gonna have to check that one out. I was watching a video came up on YouTube, and I was watching it last night. You know what car that I really want to get?
What?
I think I've mentioned it before. I want to get a Grand National.
The Grand National.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you? Those things are gnarly.
That'd be. Somebody at my work used to have one.
Really?
Yeah.
Those that would be a fun car.
They're pretty cool.
Oh, they're V6 turbo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who wouldn't want a Grand National? What are some of the biggest differences that I would notice putting equal length headers on my 07WX besides the sound for daily driving? You're going to get more top-end power. You're going to get reduced EGT temps in cylinders 2 and 4 because the runner length is going to be a lot shorter where they go to the collector. So that's obviously going to reduce the potential for knock in cylinders 2 and 4 because you're reducing EGTs and the heat transfer from that cylinder going up into the cylinder, obviously cooking it. So efficiency, it's good stuff. You want it. You want the benefits of equal length.
Normally it'll reduce spool a little bit as well. And make it more predictable.
I've heard that's negligible.
You hardly notice,
yeah.
But the bigger the turbo, the more you notice it. There's spooling and control. It's easier for people to control like issues with boost.
I've been playing with this for like an hour and a half.
That's nice.
I need to put this away because I'm stretching it out. What up, Matt? Hi, Matt.
What up?
And Matt's got a vape, so you know he's a Subaru guy.
You know it.
Why not get a Nissan Skyline GTR R29? I don't know what that is. Do you?
R29. That's like the real square boy.
Nissan. Hold up.
It's like it's just older, like 80s.
Like the Hakasuka.
Oh.
Those are expensive. Those are very expensive.
Is that the R29?
I guess I didn't know they were called R29s. Those are like $130,000.
They are beautiful though.
Those are expensive. I'd love one. They're just incredibly expensive. Cannot afford. I'd get an R34 Skyline in Bayside Blue. I'm sticking with my option of R32. I like the R32s. Personal prayer. You like boats? I like R32s. Can Matt give us deals? We talked about that one. Go for an R29 or an R30 Nissan Skyline GTR. Way too expensive. 2018 front end swapped on my STI. I like the 2017 styling of it. I like the original bumper styling. Plus, I don't want to spend $1,000+ on a new front end. Actually, it would be bumper, fog light bezels, grill, APR splitter, canards.
You gotta change it all.
I'd have to change it all.
Nice.
I'd have to change it all. It's just not worth it. But if you like Hondas, I would recommend getting the first year 1978 Honda Prelude. Hey, those look like my old XT, old Preludes.
Mm-hmm.
They look like the old XTs. Bug Eye sedans all day long. Mine was an old sedan. Hey man, I'm building an 06 WRX right now, and I have a Tomei 270 Pro cams or Pond cams. In the heads, I've heard of people switching out the intake valves to +1mm valves. Just wondering what your opinion is on that. I mean, if you have the heads off and you're going to be doing +1mm valves, you might as well do them while the heads are getting machined and resurfaced, because they're obviously going to have to clean up the valve seats where the valve actually sits to make room for them. If you're just putting cams in the car, like dropping cams, I would just get OEM spec replacement cams like GSC or Brian Crower. If you're going to be doing the +1mm valves, obviously you already have to have the heads off to be able to do it. So if you have your heads off and you want to get a little bit more flow out of it, it's a good option.
Mm-hmm.
Good
Most
option.
of the time, what I see though is oversized cams aren't really done too much on any of the head builds. Like you look at anything that.
What do you consider oversized cams though? Like 280?
Or I mean, oversized valves.
Oh.
Yeah, regardless of cam, because I think flow issues aren't normally in the size of the cams or the size of the valves on these.
Mm-mm.
Like you look at head games and all their options, I think until you get into like their 1200 horsepower option, it's the only time they do oversized valves.
I have no idea what they did to the valves on the EG now that I think of it. I think they're Super Pro.
They're giant.
Street Pro? I don't remember. We have 2 Bug Eyes in the family. That's what I'm saying. We need a Bug Eye, Matt. We need to save it. We have too many broken cars.
Were we looking?
We have too many.
Were we looking at one the other day?
I thought that was a Blob Eye. That was an 04.
No, we weren't doing anything.
That was an 04 Blob Eye we were looking at. Would you get a Nissan 240Z? I would absolutely love one. I would love a Nissan 240Z. I used to have that too. You remember the 280ZX I had? Remember that rust bucket? That thing was a rust
I liked it.
That thing was so
I didn't care about its problems. It was pretty.
It needed all new floors.
I know.
So that 280Z, I had a 1978, 1982. I don't remember. It was I want to say it was like a 1982 280ZX. When I bought it for $500, running and driving. Did not know the extent of the problems. The L28 in the car seized after driving the car twice. Sold that for a 12-pack of Blue Moon. Somebody drove up from Oregon to come pick up that L28.
I remember that.
And then when I started peeling the carpet back, I had the RB25 in the garage already. I already had the engine and everything. I had the swap mounts ready to go. But when I pulled the carpet back, I realized that there was no floor anymore. It was all spray foam. That was not that. There was no saving that car, and we lived in the apartments at the time, so there was no way, no way
to really even work on it.
There was nothing I could have done on that thing.
That was pretty bad.
I do miss that car, but yes, I would get a 240Z if I ever got the opportunity. What mods would you recommend on getting for a 2017 Plus WRX that's a daily driver, and what can I do to make it more reliable? Also, is stock suspension okay? Stock suspension's just fine. The 2017 Plus WRXs are pretty fine depending on what model year you get. Some of the early model 2017s did still have the pitch stop weld issue. Subaru has a TSB for that, and I still think they're replacing those as they fail. You work at Subaru, so I don't know.
The pitch stop issue, I believe, is still going on.
Okay.
The firewall issue on the...
I'm not talking about the firewall issue. No.
Yeah.
No. Because
15
to early model 17 was all the pitch stop weld issues, whereas just the pitch stop weld bracket that was failing. And then they revised that in 2017.
I think most of those are going to be out because TSBs work with your 3 or 36.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have issues
they only work with 3 or 36?
Yeah.
If it's a known problem, it's only work. Really?
It's dumb, I know. But if you have issues with it, you can always call Subaru of America and say, hey, I have this problem. It's from this TSB. Can you please, God, help me out?
Oh, someone else asked a question earlier that you might have the answer to since you work at Subaru. Do you know if Subaru carries the carb legal stickers for the SPT intake? I found a NASDAQ form that said you have to call Subaru of America to get them, but do you know? Like, does your dealership stock the carb legal sticker for the SPT intake?
You can probably order it.
You might be.
I mean, does it come with it? If you order the SPT?
I don't know. Someone was asking if they could
just get the sticker. If it comes with it in the box, you should probably be able to get the sticker.
I'm not sure on that one. But for the most part, mods for Daily Driver 2017 plus WRX. AOS EGR delete if you don't live in California. If you live in California, don't touch your EGR system or your PCV system, or else you're going to fail inspection. But if you're outside of that, AOS, EGR, TGV delete. If you want to make a little more sauce, J-Pipe's probably going to be your best bang for the buck on that car with an access port. Obviously, a E-tune is going to be the best way to go, but OTS tunes, stick to the map notes and you should be just fine. Lowering springs. What is that? What is this in? Oh, those are all for 370.
Yeah, he was
gotcha. Bro, will you please show the process of how to install the cams when you get the part you were waiting for? I mean, yeah, you can do that. You just bloop them in.
Make sure you
just gotta
make sure you mark all your little guys. Make sure you put them back where they were.
All the buckets.
Then you're all good.
Well, you shouldn't. Well, I only took one bucket out.
Your little bridges, my man.
Oh, the Delio guys. Yeah, I can totally do that when I get the new bucket in. We should be getting the new bucket. It hasn't even shipped yet, so I don't even know when it's going to show up, actually. Help! I was driving my car and started shaking when I hit boost. No code or anything. Car sounds good. No ticking. Any idea? Thanks in advance. That could be a plethora of things. Without, like, more information, unfortunately, there's nothing I can really do to help you on that one. If it gets, like, a check engine light or something, definitely come back in the next live stream, or feel free to comment on a video. We can try to diagnose it a little bit, but there's only so, like, no idea if there's no code or anything popping up.
If it just happened like one time, maybe check vacuum lines if it's a small vacuum leak or something. But
I mean, it could be anything.
Yeah,
that could literally
you
be
could literally
anything.
have anything going on.
Matt has good ideas. Does Matt have his own YouTube channel? If he does, put the link in the chat. Matt.
I mean, I do have my own YouTube channel, but it's unused. Since there maybe has one video on it, so.
If Matt starts uploading, I'll start linking Matt's videos in other videos. All right, we've been going for a little over an hour and a half. It is Sunday evening. We got some other stuff that we got to do, so I'm going to be hopping off. I appreciate all the donos you guys threw out tonight. Donuts. If I did not get to your guys' question, we will be doing another live stream on Tuesday evening, 6 or 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the usual time for those live streams. If I don't catch you guys the next live stream, I hope all of you guys have an awesome new year. I'm filming more videos tomorrow, so I'm going to be busy tomorrow. But, like I said, anyways, appreciate the donos. Appreciate everyone swinging by also. I'll catch you guys in the next live stream. Appreciate Matt swinging down, kicking it for a little while. Hope everyone has a chill rest of their Sunday night.